Okay, this is Algebra 1 recording for Graphing Quadratic Functions. Okay. When a is greater than 1. I'm not even sure what the lesson number is. What's the lesson number on this
49.
one? 49? Okay, great. So lesson 49. Okay. Yesterday we talked about how to graph, we talked about how to graph lines, right? And yesterday we talked about how to graph quadratic functions. Remember that? Yes? Yesterday? Okay, we're gonna do the same thing today, okay? Except today I'm gonna teach you the shortcut. Raise your hand if you want to know the shortcut. Okay? So the shortcut's kind of confusing, so you have to pay attention, but once you understand the shortcut, you're like, oh, that's easy, okay? Yeah, it'll be the same thing we did yesterday, except I'm teaching you the shortcut. That way you could... It is easier, actually. It is. Okay. Now, I got a question for you. Remember yesterday, did you all realize that when we graph like a quadratic graph, it looks symmetrical? Like one half is exactly reflected as the other half? Did you all notice that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's part of the shortcut. So here we go. These are the steps for the shortcut, but I'm going to explain the steps for the shortcut. These are different from yesterday's steps. Okay, watch me do number 1 and number 2. Pencils down. Okay, number 1. Erase this in a second. Okay, so number 1, we have y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 2. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 2, c is equal to negative 2. Okay? First thing you have to do still is you have to find negative b over 2a. So our b is going to be negative 2, so it's going to be a negative 2 over 2a. Our a is 1, so it's going to be 2 times 1. So it's going to be positive 2 over 1, which is just positive 2. Okay? That represents what part of our yeah? Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, 2 times 1 is 2. Thank you. Going too fast. I was going too fast. Okay? What number does this number represent?
Vertex.
The vertex, okay? So we still need to figure out where our vertex starts. So we know the input is 1, so we still have to figure out what the output is. 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is? Negative 2. 1 minus 2 is?
1.
Negative 1. Negative 1 minus 2 is? Negative 3. Right? Okay. So you still start with the vertex, right? Of 1, negative 3. So we plot our point right there. This is our vertex, what we just plotted, okay? So I'm going to put a little v here just so I know it's a vertex. Okay? This is the center, right? Which means everything is reflected on the right-hand side as the left-hand side. Do you all agree? Okay? So, if I were to imagine one point this way, one whole number this way, I wonder how high up it's going to go. Okay? The way you do this is you think about, if I were to go plus or minus 1, here's the shortcut. Everyone watch up here for the shortcut. If I were to go right 1, I want to figure out how far up or down I want to go. Okay? So, the way you do that is you take this 1, and you plug it in just to the first term. Our first term is x squared. So instead of x, let's plug in 1. What's 1 squared? 1. That's it. So we're just doing the first term. We're not worrying about all this other stuff, just the first term. 1 squared is? 1. So if I were to go right 1, I would go up 1 is what I'm going to do. And if I were to go left 1, I would go up 1. Does that make sense? Okay, so all I did was I plugged in 1, and I put it into the first term. 1 squared is 1. What if I went 2 spaces? Okay, if I go 2 spaces, let's put 2 in here. 2 squared is? 4. So if I go 2 spaces to the right, I'm going to go up 4. So I'm going to have a point right here. And if I go 2 spaces to the left, I'm going to go up 4. I'm going to have a point right there too. Okay? That's the shortcut. Did y'all catch the shortcut?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the shortcut works?
Yeah.
Okay. How do we know it works? What's the name of this point right here? What are the coordinates? What and what? This is the origin, by the way.
-2.
No?
0, -2.
0, -2. Okay. Let's see if this is true. If I plug in 0 here, will I get -2? What's 0 squared?
0.
What's -2 times 0?
0.
0 minus 0 is?
0.
0 minus 2? -2. You see? Did it work? Okay. Did I do all that extra work, though, to figure this point out? No. Let's try another point, just so I can prove to you it works. Let's do this point right here. What's this point?
1, 1.
No.
Or 1, -1.
No. -1, 1. Okay. If I put in -1, -1 squared is?
-1.
1. -2 times -1?
2.
2. So 1 plus 2 is?
3.
3 minus 2 is?
1.
1. You see? Y'all got it? So the shortcut is faster, right? Do y'all see how the shortcut's faster? Do we have to figure out what the points are? No, we don't have to figure out the points are. We just have to be able to multiply, okay? So all you got to do now is just graph. Oh, excuse me. And that's it, okay? So this is a helpful shortcut to graph, okay? So I'm going to do number 2 now, okay? So in case you didn't get number 1, I figured out A, B, and C. You still have to figure out what's negative B over 2A. Once you get that, you plug it into your vertex, okay? Plug it in, you get -3 out of the formula, or out of your equation. Then you figure out plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 2. If we know plus or minus 1, you go up 1. Plus or minus 2, you go up 4, right? So we went plus 1, we go up 1. Plus 2, we go up 4. Okay? Did you see that? Okay, let me do one more. Okay, what's my A here, everyone? A is
2.
B.
-12.
Good. C.
14.
Okay. So, you start with negative B over 2A. Our B is -12, so it's -12 over 2A. It's going to be 2 times 2. So it's going to be positive 12 over 4, which is equal to 3, right? So our vertex is at 3. I need to plug it back into the formula. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 2, 18. -12 times 3 is -36. 18 minus 36 is -18. -18 plus 14 is -4. So our vertex is at 3, -4. So then I would go to 3, -4, plot my point. This is my vertex. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask myself, if I were to go right or left 1 point, how high up do I go? The way you do that, you just take the number 1 and you go, it's just the first term. What's 1 squared? 1 squared is?
1.
Times 2?
2.
2. So if I were to go left or right 1, I would go up 2. So then I go right 1, up 2. There should be a point here. If I were to go left 1, I go up 2. There should be a point here. Okay? What if I were to go plus or minus 2? Okay? 2 squared is?
4.
4 times 2?
8.
Okay, so if I were to go right 2, I would go up 8. So there should be a point right here. And if I were to go right 2, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There should be a point right here. Okay? Make sense? Does that make sense, everyone? Raise your hand if this shortcut made sense to you. Okay, good, because I'm seeing some blank faces. Then, of course, you just finish it off. You just write your graph, and that's it, okay? So that's how you graph this parabola, okay? That's the shortcut. Now, Raise your hand. Well, not raise your hand. If you didn't understand how to do the shortcut, you could always do this method where you make a table. Whenever you don't understand something, make a table. Okay? All right, so what I'd like you to do, 1s till the 2s, pick a problem. Actually, together, you're going to go through the steps on how to do this, the shortcut and how to graph this thing. Okay, ready, set, go. Okay, number 3, moving on. I want you to, let's do this one together. Shh, number 3. Please quiet down. Okay, number 3, we know A is equal to 1, B is equal to -2, C is equal to 4. Okay? Next step, you want to figure out what's negative b over 2a. So you start with negative b over 2a. We know b is equal to -2, so it's going to be a -2 over 2a. Our a is 1. So we got -2, which is positive 2 over 2. 2 over 2 is equal to 1. Our vertex, the x of our vertex, is going to be 1. Okay? Now, in order to get the y, you have to plug it back in, so we have to think to ourselves, 1 squared is, everyone together, 1 squared, 1, okay. -2 times 1.
-2.
What's 1 minus 2? -1 plus 4.
3.
Okay, so where's our vertex?
3.
1, 3. Turn to your neighbor, tell him where the vertex is.
1, 3.
1, 3. Okay. Then I'm going to ask myself, if I were to go plus or minus 1, which, if I were to go 1 box to the left or right from my vertex, this is our vertex, by the way. A good way to remember your vertex, here's a fun way. Since the vertex kind of looks like a V, you can make your vertex look like a heart. Isn't that cute?
That's retarded.
That's a nice heart, okay? I worked hard. Okay? That's where it all starts. That's the heart of the problem, okay? So if I were to go right one step, how high would I go? Plug it back in here. 1 squared is 1. So if I go left or right 1, I go up 1. So you write a little note, you write I go up 1, and then so if I go right 1, I'm going to go up 1. So I should have a point here and point here, right? Writing this down? Okay, what if I were to go left or right too? How high would I go?
Close.
No.
Oh, no, wait, 4.
Why is it 4?
Because 2 squared is 4.
Good, so if you go right 2, you go up 4. You should be ending off here, right? Oh, I went too low. Okay, now what do I do? Shh. What do I do once I get all these points up here? Make a U-shaped curve, right? So remember our vertex is where the heart is. And look what I made for all of you jewelry wearers. A necklace.
Looks like a bird.
Isn't that nice?
Jared.
Okay. Number 4. Okay, good. If your brain hurts, that means we're using it. Okay? As long as there's no swelling, your brain won't pop. Okay. Here we go. Number 4. What's our A, everyone?
4.
B.
16.
C.
19.
All right. Negative B over 2A. Plug it in. What's negative B over 2A equal to?
2.
What?
2.
Good. It's 2, right? Because you have negative 16 over 2 times 4. So it's going to be 16 divided by 8, which is just 2. Okay, so our vertex starts someplace at 2. What is our y coordinate over vertex? Ready, set, go. It's a little bit harder, but you could do it. Okay, what is it?
11.
Nope.
7. 1.
I got 2 from here. Okay, let's plug it in. What is it? What did you say it was?
7.
No. What's 2 squared? 2 squared. 4 times 4?
16.
Good. Negative 16 times 2.
Negative 14. 13?
Negative 16 times 2.
Oh.
Times.
Times?
Negative 32. What's 16 minus 32? Negative.
16.
Good. Negative 16 plus 19 is? 3.
Some number that I don't know.
Okay. So our vertex is at 2, 3. So you go to 2, 3. This one is not on the loudest point, but that's okay. Okay. Plus or minus 1. If I already go plus or minus 1, how far up or down would I go? If I go plus or minus 1, where would I go? Up. How many points? X 1 squared is times 4?
4.
4. So I go up 4, right? What if I went plus or minus 2? How high would I go?
8.
2 squared is 4 times 4. What? 16. Okay, so now we go on our graph. Everyone's graphing theirs on their graph paper on their whiteboards.
16.
Okay, let me see your answers, graphs.